Welcome to Meaningful Mondays with the Community Foundation of Middlesex County, where we only know good people who do great things in our community. Whether you are a volunteer, a donor, or a nonprofit organization, each episode of Meaningful Mondays will celebrate you, our friends and neighbors who have a deep passion for and commitment to improving the quality of life for all in Middlesex County. So let's kick off the week with great conversations with remarkable people, businesses, and nonprofits making a difference right in our own backyard. Welcome everyone to Meaningful Mondays with the Community Foundation of Middlesex County and good people who do great things, because those are the only kinds of people we know. And I am so excited to have Claudia White, who's the Executive Director of the Durham Middlefield Youth and Family Services Bureau, and Addie Buckheit. Did I say that right? Okay, thank you. And you are working on your Gold Award as a Girl Scout. But what really has me excited, and I told you before we went on and before we started typing, is this program called Nice or Nothing. So before we get into the program, I just love that. I just absolutely love the idea that everybody, well, we live in a good area, but we're going to be even kinder than that. So I'm going to jump right in. And Claudia, I'm just give a little bit of background about yourself, your work in the community, and how this got started. And then Addie, I'm going to ask you to do the same. You know, who are you? What are you all about? And we're all going to want your autograph, both of you, at the end of this. Take it away, Claudia.
Sure. So I've been in the executive director position since October of 2024, but my history with the agency goes back to 2012. Years and years and decades ago, I went to a training and it was on restorative justice. And then I realized, oh my gosh, this is my passion. I love the practices. I like what it can do for people who have been harmed and for those who have done the harm. And so fast forward to 2012, Betsy Dean, who was our former executive director, she started a juvenile review board. It's now called Youth Diversion Program. So when she started it, I was a trained mediator. So I knocked on her door and I said, can I be a part of this? I really want to be a part of this. So I was, and then eventually she got a grant and I became the case manager. Everything about youth and family services is in my wheelhouse. So there were a few times after Betsy retired that the job came open and I had friends saying, you got to go for it. You got to go for it.
There you go.
And that's how it happened.
And the rest was meant to be. And we miss Betsy. So we worked a long time with her, and she obviously has started many, many wonderful programs. But we're glad you're here, Claudia.
Thank
All
you.
right, Addie. Now, let's get your bio out there so everybody can know what a rock star you are.
Okay, so I'm a senior in high school this year, beginning to try to decide what college I'm going to for next year. I'm class president. It's my third year being class president. I'm really involved in the music program at Coggins-Shaw, the high school I go to. I play saxophone, I sing, I do theater. And then I've been a Girl Scout since first grade. So that goes back a long time ago. I'm still involved as a senior.
Wow.
And yeah, I'm pretty sure people see me at every community event ever because I'm involved in so many different organizations. So,
And you're running for president, right? When you're old enough?
yeah. So I am majoring in political science.
All right.
Yeah, but we'll see where that takes me. Maybe law school later. Maybe president. No, probably not, but
Yeah,
definitely.
don't hold that out. Don't hold that out. I think you have a campaign manager sitting right next to you, right, Claudia?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me tell you, I do think that the future looks bright because
I would agree
we know
with you.
people like Addie, right?
Okay.
So we can feel good about that. That brings me a lot of hope.
Addie, she stole my line. I do I honestly, knowing people like you and people, mentors like Claudia, the future does look really bright. So, and that's why we do our podcast because we want to share all the great things that are going on. So tell us all about the program. And before we started taping, I mentioned that all of our board members have that great poster that you gave us, Claudia, and everybody comes up and is taking a photo of it and just wants to know more. They want to know more and more and more about it. So, Claudia, do you want to kick it off just to
Sure.
frame the whole program, and then Addie will have you jump right in.
Okay.
That sounds great. So many of us grew up with the expression from our parents, if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at
Right.
all. I mean, we've all heard it. One of my friends who's a teacher made a big sign of it and put it in her classroom. And I keep going back to that as you see social media, people causing harm on social media by what they say, even in person. We're hearing it all around that our world is becoming polarized. And that line, if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all, kept coming back to me. But we also knew there's more to that, right? We don't want everyone shutting up. We want to find a way to create a community where people have the tools. So we distilled it so that we could come up with 3 healthy communication techniques and spread the word in our community and beyond. And if people know how to use this, they're taking responsibility for their emotions. They're
Mm-hmm.
taking responsibility for their words, and they're doing it with kindness because it really does work. These 3 skills really not only works, but enhances lives and relationships.
So there's a template there for everybody. And I like that fact because it's always nice to have a path or a lane to be on and in. I think that's so helpful. It's a guideline. So Addie, how did you get involved? How did the Girl Scouts get involved?
Yeah, so a year ago when I was starting the process of working on my gold award, it's good to start meeting with people in the community to see like what problems people are having, like what you want your project to be about. So I met with like the first selectman of Durham and I met with Claudia, and Claudia and I really connected on the fact that people weren't being very nice online or in person.
Right.
A lot of conflict happening, especially on Facebook and Instagram. So we really connected on that and we wanted to find a way to help people communicate better. So yeah, we formed the Kindness Coalition and Nice or Nothing.
And who's in the Kindness Coalition?
Yeah, so it's basically anybody that fills out the pre-survey and does the training and uses the resources to learn the 3 different techniques. So anybody in the community can join. And we've broadened it to be outside towns as well, not even just Durham and Middlefield. We also have kindness ambassadors, or like some of my personal friends that know the techniques really well, can go out and teach people as well.
So walk me through the path. If I said that I wanted to join, what are the first 5 things that you would have me do? And Claudia will start with you for 1, 2, and then Addie will add you to do 3, 4, and 5.
Great.
Sure. So the first thing you do is take the survey.
Mm-hmm.
So we believe in data. I want to, with all of our programs, we like to see, like, we like to measure if we can measure. So on all of our posters, there's either links or QR codes to take the survey. What that does is that kind of measures where you are as a communicator. Once you take that survey, at the bottom, there are links to videos for these 3 techniques. And then you also have more videos that you can get on our website. With that, you can also attend, if we're out in public, doing any of we're calling them mini trainings. If you want to get more information, we're happy to sit down with you and go even further into these techniques, learn more about these techniques.
And so when you say that you take a survey to learn what kind of communicator you are, give me an example of the types that are on the survey or that would end up being, so I would be labeled as this kind of communicator.
Well, we didn't have it that, but we use it's like a Likert scale, and um, some of the questions are about like how distracted you are. So it might be, never, it
Oh,
might be
okay.
always, or it might be in
Okay.
between. So we didn't want anyone to feel like we wanted them to be able to self-assess. So that's, and
Okay.
we have it tracked.
I think that's so important.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we can see that data. And then after 2 months, we resend the second survey, which is a copy of the first survey, and we can see the improvement. And honestly, there have been so many people that we've reached out to, many who haven't taken the survey, but optimally for us, we want them taking the first and the second
Right.
one.
So Addie, you talked about the training. So you take the survey. What's the next step and who does the training?
Yeah, so the next step is to try to practice the techniques after watching the videos and maybe seeing us in person. We give you flyers, we explain how the techniques work. So ultimately, it's up to the person if they decide to keep
Right.
practicing and working with the three techniques. And then after that, hopefully, they will do the post survey after like 2 months of practicing on their own with their friends and family. And then in the spring, we want to do like a big pledge event. So having all those kindness coalition members come to the event and like pledge to kindness to celebrate.
And can I put a plug in for Addie because she's so wonderful? She she shows up at our events and she goes around like we have a monthly community dinner. She'll go around and just sit with people and talk to them and tell them about the skills. Like, do you want to take the survey? Whether they want to or not, she's talking about these techniques.
I think it's fabulous. And so that leads me to another question. Is the community dinner part of the program? Or is that just something that you're doing, which is another nice thing to do?
It corresponds with it for sure, but it's a separate event and we call it Towns United Through Meals and Mentoring. So we have partnered with the local senior and social services for both towns, and they help find senior volunteers. We call them seasoned chefs, pair them with some of our youth, and some of our youth are coming out of our diversion program, which is the first offenders program. And they get together and we have a chef teaching them start to finish how to make a meal for 60 people. And
Wow.
then the community shows up at 5:30.
Oh, wow.
Well, the funny thing that has happened from that is we're getting people showing up early. And so we're like, we've got them right here, captive. They're right here.
So might as well have me go and talk to them about my kindness coalition because sometimes it's hard to reach everybody. So it's really great to have a space where I could talk about what
Oh,
I've.
that's fabulous.
Yeah,
You're
it
taking
kind of
advantage.
brings everything together for
Well,
DMYFS, my gold award.
good for you for taking advantage of all the opportunities you can, Addie.
Thank
So, and will this go on forever?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're all about increasing protective factors and reducing risk factors, right? If you really want to do that, you have to keep teaching these techniques. And and even if this big part of the campaign ends, we'll always have that piece on our website, materials at our events. And it also gives us an opportunity to move into maybe forgiveness, maybe releasing anger. Maybe
Mhm.
it's another version of our kindness coalition that can really help anyone in our community or even outside of our community, honestly.
So I'm sitting here listening, and you're connecting with all these wonderful people who are your friends and neighbors, or maybe new friends. For each one of you, can you think of something that has come totally out of the blue and was just a wonderful surprise that you never would have predicted that might happen. I didn't send that in the materials I sent you, but I'm sitting here going, there has to be like this, oh my gosh, I never thought that would happen, and it's fabulous.
Well, for me, there's a lot, but one of the things that stands out is this has really provided a way for our agency to connect with some of our older members. When you think of a youth service bureau, you think of children and families.
Well, they're young at heart too.
Yeah, and there's a lot more than that in the community.
Right.
So, for example, having Addie come, and we have so many seniors that are now part of our programming, but also coming to the dinner, also learning about this and like, yeah, I really like that idea. I think also when you're around for a while, you realize what it comes down to. Life comes down to being about relationships and building
Absolutely.
relationships. So for that was such a nice surprise to be like, wow, this has opened up our ability to meet and work with a greater population.
It's really very simple. It is all about the relationships. I have to just tell you that we have a huge sign in my office, and it's our culture. Work hard and be nice. It's that simple. Five
Yeah.
words. So, Addie, any really spectacular surprises?
There's definitely a lot. I think similar to Claudia, like just seeing the techniques really help my relationships with my friends and like my family. Like I
Mhm.
have two older brothers that have like an age gap. So like my oldest brother's like 7 years from me, but he uses it in his workplace. Like he regulates himself and uses the techniques. And I feel like my relationships with my friends, like being a high schooler is really difficult, but being able to take a moment for myself, think of my best self during a conversation, actively listen to somebody, and communicate my emotions well has helped me so much. And being able to teach those techniques to like older people in our community at the community meals events, but also I taught the techniques to Girl Scouts at our World Thinking Day event, younger people in our community, and they were really good at using the techniques. So for them, it'll be easier as they grow up to just effortlessly like communicate to others. So it's just really nice seeing how this small, I thought this was going to be a small project, has become really big.
Well, the positive ripple effect is just absolutely amazing. Um, so are there any thoughts to maybe expanding this and helping other towns do the same thing?
Yeah, absolutely. I have been asked, I go to a monthly directors meeting
Right.
and I have been asked like, hey, so how is that working out? Because I'm just really excited about the campaign. I think it's a good campaign and it's even better when you can share it and offer it to someone so that they can learn from the mistakes that I've made or the things that didn't work, right? So what I would like to see is it spread throughout Connecticut and just keep spreading.
So we do, believe it or not, we have lots of people who listen to us on their way to work. Hope they don't watch, they just listen. And then there are people who watch and listen. So I'm going to throw it out there to anybody who's watching and listening to us that let's make this part of the entire state of Connecticut. I happen to think we live in the best state, live in the best region in the state, in the whole wide world, and that we're pretty special, but let's make it even better. So, with that, Claudia, how would one get a hold of you to find out more?
You can go to our website, DMYFS.org,
Okay.
and we have a tab for Nice or Nothing. And that information is there. And you can click the link, take the survey, start watching videos. And my email address is on there. My phone number is on there. And please connect. My door is always open. And I would love to hear your voice.
And she's really great at sharing things. The Community Foundation can attest to that. But
Thanks.
but please repeat it because I think the more we hear it, the more I want people to really reach out and let's get this going. Let's keep the positive stuff moving forward.
Absolutely.
So say it again. How do we reach you?
You can go on to Durham Middlefield Youth and Family Services website, and that's DMYFS.org, and look for the Dice or Nothing tab, and it'll take you right to it.
Okay. And Addie, I'm blown away, first of all, when you started telling me all the things that you were involved in. So I absolutely know you don't sleep.
No, I don't.
And see, that was a giveaway. What advice would you give, Addie, to somebody your age about getting involved in the community and the benefits of that?
I would say anything you see, get involved in. Um, Especially at school. Like, I don't know if every school has the opportunities that Coginchug has, but there's a lot of events that connect with the community. Even like this weekend, there's like a clothing drive and Easter flower sale. Like, just sign up. It doesn't hurt anybody. Look for organizations like DMYFS, or if it's something you're interested in, the environment, like a community garden, literally anything.
The communities have a lot going on and they need your help. But I also think that you sort of hinted at finding a mentor or somebody like Claudia, an adult that can help. Can you expand on that just a little?
Yeah. I would say somebody willing to give up their time to meet with you and listen to your ideas and pitch in some of theirs, and somebody that can advocate for you and meet with other adults and help give you a voice is really good.
Okay. And Addie, I have one more question for you. What's a gold award?
A Gold Award is the highest and most prestigious award you can get in Girl Scouting. It's similar to like an Eagle Scout award,
Okay.
but it's for Girl Scouts. It needs to be something measurable. You need to spend like 80 hours on it. Needs to impact the community, and it needs to last beyond you being in the community. So as I go to college, like, how can it be sustainable past me being here?
And is Nice or Nothing your part of your program for the gold award?
Mhm.
Oh,
Yes.
great. Great. Okay. Well, with the list of things you're involved in, I'm sure you have more than just this. So one last question for both of you. Well, maybe not the very last. Claudia, for your peers at the Youth and Family Service Bureaus of Connecticut, what advice would you give to them about getting this started?
I guess the first thing I would do is offer to meet with anyone interested in getting this off the ground.
Okay.
Because there's so much we've learned through the process. It's really doable. And and honestly, the reason that we're able to do this is because of your foundation. So
Oh,
uh, being connected with your foundation is amazing, and having your support. So the first thing I would say is call me, meet with me, let's talk. Anyone who's interested, I'm happy to share all of the information and some of the things that have worked well and some of the things that haven't. And call a Girl Scout, call a Girl Scout, the Girl Scouts, and find someone working on their Gold Award.
all right, Claudia. Excuse me, Addie. One last question for you, and then I have a question for both of you. So, what advice would you give to that first grade Addie?
I would say just keep being involved in all of your activities.
Okay.
Like, all the activities I started to do in first grade, Girl Scouts, okay, singing, theater, playing saxophone, like, I've continued on. I think it's easy as you grow up to feel a lot of peer pressure to not do things you like, but just continue on with your passions, even though they might be embarrassing or not fit the norm. So definitely that's what I'd say, is just keep being involved and pursuing what you like to do.
And I'm glad I think it's be yourself. And so I'm glad that you are true to yourself. So the two of you are just absolutely amazing. I'm going to rush right over with my autograph book and get autographs from both of you. You're just really rock stars. One last question. So what are you both looking forward to in the next month or so? I think we're getting into spring maybe. So what are you looking forward to? Claudia, I'll start with you.
Well, certainly more time outside.
Right. Oh,
Yeah, and really like spending the time with people when I'm outside and just making more connections and building friendship, building a stronger friendship and family bond because now we can do it. It's because it's getting a little warmer.
absolutely. And if you're still inside, God forbid we ever have another snowstorm but we have had them in May. Trust me, I know that. If you can't connect outside, pick up the phone and call somebody that you really care about and just carry on a conversation. And Addie, how about you? The next month, what are you looking forward to?
I'm really looking forward to spring break, actually. Similarly, going outside because school, we have to stay inside. But with the music department at my school, we're going to a festival competition for our music department. So we're going to Disney World to compete
Nice.
with band and chorus. So I'm really excited for that.
Absolutely. Well, have a wonderful time. Ladies, I am so impressed. I'm like humbled to think about what I haven't done compared to both of you. And we are just so honored to work with you. And Claudia, thank you for the kind words about the Community Foundation, but right back at both of you. So Meaningful Monday is even more meaningful today because of you, Addie, and because of you, Claudia. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us for this week's episode of Meaningful Mondays. At the Community Foundation of Middlesex County, we know that philanthropy matters and philanthropy works. Together we support the arts, education, human services, animal welfare, the environment, heritage enhancements, and so much more by providing services, programs, and grants to our local nonprofits. We invite you to learn more and share your passion with us. Visit us at middlesexcountycf.org or contact us at 860-347-0025. Together we can make great things happen.